The Mystery of the Green Backpack. Chapter 1. An Unusual Morning. David is a normal student. He lives in a small flat in London. Every morning he wakes up at 7 a.m., drinks a cup of tea and goes to the bus station. He carries a blue backpack. Inside his backpack there is a laptop, a notebook and an apple. But today is different. David is very tired because he studied late last night. He gets on the bus and sits next to a woman in a red coat. He puts his backpack on the floor and closes his eyes for 5 minutes. When the bus stops at his university, David quickly grabs his backpack and runs out. He walks to the library and sits down. He wants to start his homework. He opens the backpack, but he stops. "Wait," David said quietly. "This is not my backpack." Inside the backpack there isn't a laptop. There is a small wooden box, a very old map and a large golden key. And the backpack is not blue, it's a dark green. Chapter 2. The Map. David is nervous. "Where is my laptop? My essay is on that computer," he thinks. He looks at the green backpack again. It looks expensive. He opens the old map. It is a map of a small park in the center of the city, Greenbury Park. There is a red X near a big oak tree. "Is this a game?" Tom asks himself. Suddenly his phone rings. It's an unknown number. "Hello?" Tom says. A woman's voice answers. She sounds worried. "You have my bag. And I have yours. I saw you on the bus." "Yes," David says. "I have the green backpack. Where are you?" "I'm at the entrance of Greenbury Park," the woman says. "Please come now. It's very important. Bring the key." Chapter 3. The Meeting in the Park. David runs to the park. It's a beautiful sunny day, but David is not looking at the flowers. He sees a woman in the red coat near the gate. She looks happy to see him. "Thank you for coming," she says. Her name is Sarah. She's a history professor. "Why do you have a golden key and old map?" Tom asks. Sarah looks around. She speaks quietly. "This key opens a secret door under the old library. My grandfather told me about it. He said there are lost books from 200 years ago." David is interested now. "Can I help you?" he asks. Sarah smiles. "Yes, I'm a bit scared to go alone. Do you want to find a secret room?" Chapter 4. The Secret Entrance. David and Sarah walk to the center of the Greenbury Park. They find the big oak tree from the map. The tree is very old and its branches are like long arms. "The map says the door is under the roots," Sarah whispered. David looks at the ground. There are many leaves and some stones. He moves a large flat stone with his foot. Under a stone there is a metal ring. "Look!" David shouts. He pulls the ring and small wooden door opens in the ground. It's dark and smells like old paper. David takes out his phone and turns on the flashlight. They see stone stairs going down. "Are you ready?" Sarah asks. David nods. They walk down slowly. 1, 2, 3, 20 steps. At the bottom there is a heavy iron door with a very large keyhole. David gives Sarah the golden key from the green backpack. She puts the key in the hole. Click. The door opens. Chapter 5. The Forgotten Library. Inside the room, the air is cold. David moves his light around. He can't believe his eyes. The walls are covered with bookshelves from the floor to the ceiling. There are thousands of books. Some are small, some are huge, and all of them look very old. "This is it," Sarah says, her eyes shining. "The lost library of 1820. People thought it was a legend." In the middle of the room, there is a large wooden desk. On the desk, there is a black leather book. It is open. David walks closer and reads the first line. "To the person who finds this, you are now a protector of history." Suddenly they hear a noise. Someone is walking down the stairs. Chapter 6. The Man in the Grey Suit. David and Sarah hide behind a tall bookshelf. A man enters the room. He is wearing a gray suit and holding a flashlight. He looks angry. "I know you are here," the man shouts. "Give me the map and the key. Those books are worth millions of dollars." David looks at Sarah. "Who is he?" he whispered. "He is Mr. Graves," Sarah whispered back. "He is a greedy businessman. He wants to sell these books to private collectors. If he takes them, the world will never see them." David looks at the green backpack. He has an idea. "Sarah, do you have your phone?" "Yes, why?" "Call the university security. I will distract him." David takes a heavy old book. It's a dictionary from 1850 and drops it on the floor. Bang! There they are. Mr. Graves runs towards the sound, but David is fast. He runs in the opposite direction and leads Mr. Graves into a corner of the library. Chapter 7. The Resolution. While Mr. Graves is chasing David around the bookshelves, Sarah calls the police and the university guards. 10 minutes later, loud voices come from the stairs. "Police! Don't move!" Mr. Graves stops. He is tired and his face is red. The police take him away. A group of professors from the university arrive, and they are amazed. They shake David's hand. "You are a hero, David," Sarah says. "And look, I have something for you." She gave him his blue backpack. "The police found it on the bus. Your laptop is safe." Tom signs with relief. "Finally, I can finish my essay now." Sarah laughs. "I think your professor will give you an A even without the essay after today." David looks at the golden key in his hand. He started the morning as a tired student, but he ended it as a protector of history.